We're live. We made it.
Holy shite.
I have this because I really like to kill somebody.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God. That was the worst tech thing I've ever gone through. And, I am not a tech person. I don't know how I got this title.
We just want to say to everybody out there watching, thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Having technical
It had to happen on the day we have Dana Goldberg. Jesus.
I'm just trying to get some things done. I'm just trying to share it. Like everything's chaos right now.
It's just total chaos. We are so happy to have you, and thank you for your patience, my dear.
Welcome.
Absolutely.
Welcome to coronakitchen.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get this to my page, my regular page.
Oh,
Dana's just calm and cool as a cucumber. Deborah,
No.
Wedding.
I don't even think I can get this shared to my page.
I need a new shirt. Oh my God. I'm like, woohoo. That was so intense. But I'm glad you guys hung out with us. I have a fabulous hat today that Lisa's sister gave me.
Yeah,
Nice.
Go closer, Deborah, so we can see what that says.
Can you see it? It says 6 feet, bitch. I love it.
I can't get this onto my regular page.
It's okay. At least we're up. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll share it later.
Okay.
I shared it as a watch party on my page.
David shared it as a watch party on his
Quit
page.
bragging, David. I can't figure out the technology.
David's just like, I've been watching you with all these problems.
I know. I don't think I can.
This is so funny. But I have to say, I heard the greatest news this morning when
Trump
Stephanie
resigned?
Miller. No. You know what? I have to tell you, every time somebody at the bank or on a call, they say, "Oh, is there anything else I can do for you?" The first thing out of my mouth is, "Get me a new president."
She says it every time. She does.
Every time. I've been saying it for years. Now I usually follow it up with, "Are you registered to vote? Are you registered to vote?" But
That's a good one.
All right. I can't do that, so here we go. Yeah, I'm all yours.
Well, wait, what's the good news? You had some good news.
Oh, yes, I heard good news.
What was the good news?
I listen to Stephanie Miller show every morning, and she announced that you are going to be on the virtual tour this time. I am so excited.
I'm doing a guest spot. I'm going to start putting some things in the oven while we talk so they can actually cook.
Okay. It's so cool that you didn't start ahead.
I probably should. Like 4 meals could have been done. So everyone, this is my kitchen. This is my kitchen in Los Angeles. If anyone was ever curious what it looks like, now you know.
Now everyone knows.
Well, let's introduce Dana for those who are new to Dana Goldberg. Brianna.
Oh, yes. Well, Dana is an Albuquerque gal.
What?
Born and raised, 505. What?
Whoa!
When you called me and I got that 505, I was like, oh, she has a 505 area code. That's awesome.
I kept my roots. I moved to LA 17 years ago, and they said, "Do you want to change your number?" I said, "No, I don't."
Wow. That's so funny. I kept my LA number when I moved to New Mexico.
That's funny. Everyone's like, it'll make you sound more reputable if it's an LA area code. And I'm like, really? Will it?
No.
And Dana's organized the Southwest Funny Fest at the Chemo for what it would have been 13 years.
13 years.
Wow.
But I am talking to a tech company, and I can't promise it, but there is a chance I'm going to do a virtual comedy Funny Fest. So let's hope that I can figure it out. I'm not very tech savvy, so I'm still hoping that I can.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Well, you won't call me if you need help.
Dana, I just did a virtual show. Maybe we can talk later.
Totally. I mean, why not now? What are we doing now? Nothing?
We're not doing anything. Okay.
Oh my God. No, she doesn't have a camera person, Peggy. She doesn't. Someone said, does she have a camera person?
No.
No, I'm just doing this myself. I have a little tripod, and the reason I'm not looking at you is because I have a very large knife in my hand, and I don't want to cut my fingers off because I'm a lesbian, and they're very important.
That's hysterical. So what are you cutting?
I am mincing some garlic. So I'm going to pretend like I know what I'm doing. So what I did is I cut a spaghetti squash in half. And people, if you've never cooked a spaghetti squash, you're going to want to cut it in half. And some people say to cook it with the stuff inside it. I don't like to. I spoon it out with a little spoon. I put it on a baking sheet. I put a little bit of water to keep it moist, and I throw it in the oven for about 20 minutes on 400. So one of you is going to have to tell me when we're about 15 more minutes into the show.
Okay. All right, I'll keep a timer.
Yeah. So, and then I'm mincing
And
some
by
garlic.
stuff, you mean the seeds.
So there's like seeds in there. Spaghetti squash is it's like the most fun squash to cook, because then when it's cooked, you get to like fork it out.
Yeah.
And it literally, for those of you that don't eat pasta, or some of you might be gluten-free or whatever, it's a good substitute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fabulous substitute.
We haven't had anybody make spaghetti squash on Corona Kitchen, so this is exciting. But
Wonderful.
we can't see anything that you're doing.
Well, I'm just this isn't going to work.
No,
because then I can't. I'm just chopping garlic.
Okay,
there's my left breast. And there's my left breast, and this is my cutting board.
That's fabulous.
Every once in a while, tilt it down. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
And so for some of you, they're like, "Oh, garlic is so hard to peel." If you put it under your knife and put your knife flat and you smash it, the skin will come off easier, and you also open the garlic up, and the oils start to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So taught you how to cook?
Absolutely no one. My mother was absent most of my childhood.
What did you live off of?
No, my mom actually, I say that the reason she was absent is she raised 3 of us alone, working 3 part-time jobs and being an amazing mom. But she was the kind of mom that would like leave a giant chicken in the oven all day on a low heat. And she'd be like, in 4 hours, go check on it, baste it a little bit. And I was like, all right. But we had that for days. Like, it was just this delicious chicken, and we had carrots and celery. And then, being the good Jewish mother she was, she took the carcass and then she made a soup.
Nice.
That's it. Stone soup.
We love that.
You come from a generation where you don't let anything go to waste, unlike the generation I come from.
Yeah. No, we don't waste anything. If you were a viewer of Corona Kitchen, my freezer is infamous.
Yes, it is. Debriana saves every single scrap of everything.
I think that's wonderful.
I have a use for it.
I've been literally eating the same 5 things for 190 days, and I think I wear 4 outfits. 3 of them happen to be workout outfits, and that's all I do. I shower every few days because we're in a pandemic and none of this makes sense.
That's right. None of it. We don't know what time it is, what day it is. I missed one of my good friend's birthday. She texted me last night. I know. In the middle of watching Hamilton, I get a text from her. I'm like, she doesn't stay up that late. What's the matter? And I looked at it and she goes, you forgot my birthday. I'm like, oh my God. I'm such a hideous human.
Okay, wait a minute. Can we talk one for a second? I mean, if she's watching, happy belated birthday. If she's not, she's got a lot of balls to be like, hey, did you forget what today was? Like, you're the only person she called?
No, my friend has the biggest balls of any man I know.
Yeah.
she does. So it was funny that she did that. She's fine.
Okay, she's fine.
She's fine, but she knows me, and she knows that now I'm thinking I owe her at least gingerbread cookies.
Got it. Now I'm cutting these beautiful. Look at that shot. I'm cutting these beautiful cherry tomatoes.
Lovely.
Something just happened in my oven. It scared the shit out of me. I think when you're cooking something and the pan goes from hot to cold or cold to hot, and it does that weird.
Yeah,
that just happened. So we're gonna cut these into 4s, and then a little bit later we're gonna saute them with some garlic and basil and lemon. Add a little bit of water to make a sauce for my spaghetti squash.
Nice. Well, I have to tell you, one of our male viewers, I think, is referring to the boob shot. He said, "Oh, this is getting good."
Well, good. I'm glad that the show's gotten more interesting tonight.
I'm pretty sure that's what he meant. I don't know. Unless he's totally enthralled with spaghetti squash.
Unless he really likes garlic. Unless he
Could have been the
really,
tomatoes.
really likes garlic.
You never know. You never know.
So is your basil growing near you, or did you buy it?
No, I got it from Trader Joe's in a giant box. Ladies, how much time do you think I have in my day?
I know, between changing all those outfits. I don't
Wait,
know how
actually, let's do this. Let's do this again. Hold on. We should actually ask the question again in a second.
Okay. Just let me know and I'll go.
Okay, and go.
So Dana, do you have the basil growing in your garden, or?
I know it's actually, I grow it inside. It's a greenhouse. So I put this in a wine glass when there's not wine in my glass. If you put just the stem of the basil without the leaves, it'll grow into this beautiful bouquet in about 3 weeks.
So easy. So easy.
You are more than talented.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think that same guy viewer goes, I love garlic. Heh. You actually said heh.
What's the guy's name?
It's Walter. I think it's my friend Walter, and Walter actually is a phenomenal cook.
Well, then, Walter, I'm glad that what has impressed you so far is not my knife skills, but my left breast. That's fantastic. I feel really good about my cooking skills then.
That's awesome. So you are making a vegetarian dish this evening. Are you vegetarian?
Oh, no, I am not. I'm not a big meat eater, actually, to be honest with you. And not for any, I hate to say not for any moral reasons, except now I do have a friend that shames me every time she asks what I'm making for dinner. And it used to have a mother. She's very much like, that's disgusting. And I'm like, hey, listen. So I don't eat a lot of red meat but I do enjoy chicken. And normally I make this dish with salmon. A nice lemon garlic salmon, but how much time do we really have?
Yeah, I don't know. Time in the last 3 years has completely changed form and morphed into, I have no idea what day it is. What everything seems to be like. Anything that happened like 2 months ago feels like it happened 10 years ago.
Absolutely. And anything like pre-COVID that happened, everyone's like, or someone asked a question and was like, when did you see that? Or when did you do that? And I was like, oh, it was like a month ago. No, because I wasn't allowed out of my house. It was 3 months. No, I wasn't allowed out of my house. It was, oh my God, it's been at least 6 months. It was like in 2019.
Yeah.
No one even remembered the impeachment trial, for God's sake. I mean, it's like,
I do remember
I remember it. I watched the whole thing, but I just with Trump, every day is a crisis. Every single day of this administration is a crisis.
We do remember the impeachment trial because it was a little bit of joy. It was a little bit of joy. Yes. All the Senate hearings. My favorite part is just watching Lindsey Graham and her antics. Just dramatic. Lindsey Graham. For those of you watching in South Carolina, if you could vote that drama queen out, I would greatly appreciate. We need to get Mitch McConnell out. We need Lindsey Graham out.
Yeah.
Every time Lindsey Graham during the Kavanaugh hearings, because every time Kavanaugh would start to cry, which was like 5 or 6 times, Kavanaugh would get really upset. He would be like, I like beer. Okay, I like beer. And then Lindsey Graham was like, I have never. And you're like, all right, Leslie Jordan, sit down. Like, we can't, just stop.
Oh my God.
Stop.
Hot under those skirts.
It is hot.
He had the vapors.
Man, I hate to say this, but some of these ads that the Republicans are good. The Lincoln Project, they are making some killer ads. I wish Democrats were as good at it. But if Republicans save us from this lunatic, fine by me. Maybe you guys can fix your party. I have no idea.
I know. I never forget that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And after we hopefully get our guy in office, they will then have to be under careful watch, lock and key. I actually heard Nicole Wallace today asking Steve Schmidt if he thought that the Republican Party has to take some responsibility for helping us get here where we are. And he danced on the head of a pin and never answered that question. But it's interesting to note that she knows that.
Wow.
That's insane. How can they not say that? They have been completely complicit in this entire thing from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
From the beginning. They know this guy's a lunatic. They know that the election wasn't legitimate. They know that they could have removed him during impeachment. They chose not to. And now we're, 3 million cases into COVID and 130,000 Americans dead?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Enjoy your dinner, everyone. Enjoy your dinner.
And the economy
Comedy in the time of Corona. Yeah. So I'm going to check my spaghetti squash. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to stick a fork in it and see if it's soft.
Stick a fork in it.
We're about halfway there, and I wear a necklace that I realize literally turns into a branding unit every time I open the oven. I'm actually surprised I have a keloid scar from that. So yeah,
I know, it's so intense. 400 degrees is hot. It's a hot oven.
It is a hot oven. We are going to very slowly just start making some sauce. But what else do we want to talk about?
Let's see. Well, so if you're going to do the Sexy Liberal show on the 18th, is it, of July?
Yes.
Okay, so people can get tickets now at thesexyliberaltour.com over there. Yes.
I love me, my Steffi Miller. And for those Steph heads that are watching, hello, and I love you. And for those of you that this has been a very strange time for artists and comedians because we've been grounded and literally out of work. So there's been a lot of Steph heads that have been really supportive and generous during this time, sending tips for my rooftop rants and my podcast and just my visits to Stephanie Miller. So if you are watching, just know that I love you and I appreciate you so very much.
Aww.
That is, the other thing is you have a podcast.
Yeah,
I do.
The last one I listened to with Alexandra Billings.
Oh, isn't she amazing?
Badass. If anyone has not heard that podcast, you absolutely have to. It was awesome. And somebody actually today in my house said, screw the pooch. And I went, the dog.
Fuck the dog.
Because you guys were just so funny about that.
So in the podcast, for those of you watching, it's called Out in Left Field, and you can download it anywhere. You get podcasts, Apple or Stitcher or Spotify, any of that. And Alexandra and I were talking about, I think we were actually going into an AIDS conversation. Alexandra's HIV positive. And we were talking about how Pence has really just completely screwed the response to this coronavirus. Like, it's been really bad. And I was saying that Pence in Indiana screwed the pooch is what I was thinking. And the phrase, fuck the dog, came out of my mouth. So I said, Mike Pence really fucked the dog. And then Alexandra and I laughed for about a minute and a half till we were crying and lost all composure.
Wow.
All composure.
And those of us listening, I'm sure, I know I was like rolling laughing because it's like one of those things where you say, okay, don't laugh. And then you just have to start laughing.
And you can't not. And then during the show, I had to compose myself because Alex was going into a very serious story about like her friends dying during the 80s. And, I kept giggling and I'm like, Dana, you're a dick. Like, you really need to get it together. But luckily she was also laughing. So that was nice.
Yeah.
We are going to just change views. And we're going to.
Camera person.
We asked our guests to do their own camera work.
Yeah, I think hold on, I'm plugged in with my headphones, so this is going to be awkward. I got to get my cutting board.
Oh my God.
Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Okay, this is going to be a disaster.
You did it.
I really should have opened my wine by now.
Yeah, I may need some.
We'll get my spices. I'm a garlic, salt, and pepper on everything kind of cook. Like, I don't have a lot of creativity, which is kind of pathetic, but that's what it is.
We're gonna have to send her some of your sister's salts. I got a salt from your sister today, Lisa. That mint.
Yeah,
so,
that's the one we made on the show, Debriana. That's the one we made on the show.
Oh, it's beautiful. We will send you a salt because you need it.
Yeah.
I feel like I just got assaulted on the show, which is great. I'll send me a salt.
And so what's that? What is in your hand?
This is an olive oil, so I just don't really measure it out, but we do about, a tablespoon or so.
Okay.
And who measures when they cook? Come on. You measure when you bake. You don't measure when you cook.
Have I said that verbatim or what? That's like my mantra, Dana, and I get so much crap for it on this damn show.
No. If you got to go to a recipe exactly, that's fine. Like if you're making something that has certain portions, but otherwise just be like, yeah, there's a pinch of salt.
And there it is, folks. Wow.
I'm going to put that in there and mix that up.
Everyone out there who watches this is cracking up now because I'm the measurer. And this is how bad I am with measuring. Like I measure my pasta, I'll pull it out and go, I think it's this much, and then check myself in the measure just so I can have some level of satisfaction that I have control in my life.
Yeah, that's not a cooking thing. That's a control issue for sure.
She's a checker. She's a checker. And I'm like, just put 2 circles in. I don't know how much oil,
Look at how pretty. See, I don't even need a camera person. We're good to go.
See, you're a natural. You've got it down.
I'm good. Until this falls. Woo, it is hot in the kitchen though. Man, I have an air conditioner in my living room and that is it.
Yeah, we don't have them here.
I know we have a heat wave right now and we don't have air conditioning and it's hot.
Oh yeah, you guys are at what, like 103?
Well, no, that's Albuquerque.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Santa Fe is not as hot.
95 today or something, and we're all expiring.
I like when everyone's like, but it's a dry heat. I'm like, yeah, the moment I step out of the shower, my hair's dry, my skin's cracking, so it's not really that fun. But I do miss New Mexico. I spent a lot of my youth up in Santa Fe. I went to Hummingbird Music Camp. Are you guys familiar with Hummingbird?
Yes.
Yes. So from 8 to 18, I went to Hummingbird every summer and spent my summers up there. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water because it takes the juices from the tomato. I love that it sounds like I know what the hell I'm doing. And it takes the juices from the tomato. And it makes a little bit of a sauce. So it takes the garlic and then you can just drink water.
But you could have done this with wine and then drank the wine.
I could do this with wine. That is true. I didn't have a white wine in the house, but if you a good cooking wine, that's not horrible to drink. If you don't want to waste it, it's $2 chuck. It's not that bad.
Mm-hmm. So, do you play music then?
I am a drummer. I was a drummer since I was 8, and I was the second best jazz drummer in the state in New Mexico in high school. There was one guy named Andrew Squires who was like the Doogie Howser of drums. You know what I mean? He was like this phenom that no one could come near him. So it was like Andrew Squires, Dana Goldberg, and then everyone else was here. So I knew that I was always going to come second to Andrew. I think I beat him in like one contest, but I was the only freshman on the drum line at Manzano High School. My freshman year, I was the only girl. Sorry, I was the only girl my freshman year. And then we won best drum line. I just totally nerded out. I'm like, let me tell you this one time at band camp. What is happening?
That's so cool.
Now I'm going to take my fresh basil. Look at how gorgeous that is.
Fresh grown, yes, that's fresh picked and fresh grown. Mm-hmm.
Yep, that was grown in my kitchen in a wine glass.
And
we're just going to go ahead and for now I'm going to turn off the heat because you don't want to overcook the basil. This is really, I feel like I was born for this. Thank you so much for inviting me on the show. I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
I think we need a cooking show, Dana.
I think I do too. So we're just going to turn the heat off on that. We're going to let the basil wilt. I don't want to overcook it. And we're going to stick a fork in the spaghetti squash and see what's going on, ladies.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for taking us to your squash.
These are Corona Kitchen moments we will never forget.
Yeah, I think we're really close. So we're getting there. Just a minute or two so we can.
Now, do you ever put olives in that concoction of yours?
How dare you? No, I'm sure it would actually taste very good. But no, I don't put any olives in the concoction. Every once in a while with this specific sauce, there's a dish that takes shrimp and zucchini and adds it to that. But I didn't, I left my shrimp somewhere. That's not my house recently.
Are you okay? You can't Are you gluten free? You can't eat pasta.
Oh God, I feel like that person now where I'm like LA and I'm like, listen to my juicing story. No, I had a really rough year last year when it came to sinus infections. I know, you're getting to know me. And I think a lot of it had to do with my flying because I flew a ridiculous amount of domestic miles last year, but I couldn't get better. And so I was talking to a nutritionist and I know myself well enough when I'm eating too much bread or I'm eating too much refined sugar, I just start to feel like crap. Mm-hmm. So basically a month and a half ago, I stopped eating refined sugar, dairy, and gluten, and coffee.
Oh, because I did that for 4 months, and I was so miserable.
It's been 20 minutes. I'm telling you, it's been 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, I'm getting that. I'm getting the squash out.
Thank you, Becky.
I think it's probably better.
That was one of our viewers, not me, by the way. Sorry.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, people watching at home. So I'm going to get the spaghetti squash out.
But anyway, you feel better now because you went gluten and dairy free.
I actually feel really good. My sinus infection is gone. That could have been both between the meds and just sort of, I grew up in a family that my mom was a health food nut. And if you're eating too much shit, it really hurts your gut. And 70% of your healing comes from that. So when you have infections and stuff, if you're eating too much dairy or you're eating too much sugar, it's really hard for your body to fight that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I just decided to, fix that. So, okay, let's see if I can somehow do this because I don't know if my camera's going to,
We can see the sauce. We see the sauce.
So, but I'm going to move the sauce and I'm going to take, I need to look at what I'm doing.
I'm worried about that headphone catching in your grates, so please be careful.
Yeah. I will. Okay, so can you see
the squash? Yeah. Okay.
So the squash is incredibly hot, people. So if you're going to do this, you might want to hold the oven mitt in your left hand while you hold the squash and scrape it with the fork.
Okay.
But we're just going to,
it's hot.
We're going to, and now it's slippery.
Hey, get a spatula. Get a spatula.
Yeah.
Don't strangle yourself with the headphone.
I won't. Okay, so I'm just going to flip over the squash.
We don't have any.
Oh, look at that! Look how see it's absolutely beautiful though.
Oh,
so, yeah. And I'm going to grab it in a second. But what you're going to do is basically you're just going to scrape the inside, and it starts to turn into spaghetti. You can actually see it starting.
Toward the edge of your
stove. Over to the left.
Yeah, moving toward the edge of your stove. Oh, there you go.
There it is. Okay.
So you can actually start to see it like turn into spaghetti outside of the squash.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, so we're gonna continue doing that without hopefully the camera falling.
I hope it doesn't fall under the sink.
Oh my God, I saw it leaning. Okay. Shit, now my oven mitt's over here. Okay, we're good. Yeah, so then you're going to take the
that oven mitt is huge, I must say.
It really is. It's bigger than I need. I'm going to just burn my fingers. So it's incredibly hot, and then you're just going to scrape out the center, and you'll salt and pepper it a little bit, and you're going to ask some questions while I do that, and I'll answer them. But because I don't need to focus on this, but I feel like I'm ignoring you.
Does the squash serve as a bowl to hold the sauce?
No, but what a brilliant idea. I can totally save. Well, actually, I need the plate anyway because you have to put it on something.
Okay.
But what a lovely idea.
Well, she's just full of good ideas.
You are. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here. So, take that off.
So I'm forever with that. The gluten-free pasta at Trader Joe's is the best gluten-free pasta that I have ever used.
Oh, it's good?
Yeah. And would you get a package out? Mm-hmm. It is. I've tried when I was doing what you did, which I did for like 4 months. I tried every pasta, being the Italian that I am, on the planet. And it was the Trader Joe's. I think it's brown rice and yellow lentil. I think. Oh, yeah. That's it. Here, I'll show you the package. It is by far and away the best. Here it is. This organic.
I heard the red lentil one is also very good.
Yeah, the yellow lentil brown rice. It's in the blue and clear bag. Everyone, this is the best pasta.
We're not even sponsored by Trader Joe's, but everything we use
I
tonight
should
seems
be.
to.
We have a lot of products that could sponsor us, but they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna season the spaghetti squash with a little salt and pepper, just because it's sort of bland on its own. So you don't want to. If you put the sauce on it there, it'll actually soak up all the flavor because it doesn't have its own seasoning. So you want to just season it a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I think it has the same flavor profile like a zucchini. You know, it doesn't have a lot of flavor on its own, so it welcomes whatever you put on it.
How fun
Look
that
at
is.
that! Oh my God, that looks amazing.
Yeah. So we got that.
So
And then I'm just gonna plate it up.
then Dana, we're gonna ask you to take a photo of it to post on Corona.
Okay. Well, then I'm not going to be able to eat it with you because I'm on my phone. And that's what I take a picture of, and I'm afraid if I leave,
Well,
it's going
take
to disconnect.
one bite. Take one bite for the satisfaction.
Yeah.
You know what? At least I know it's good. I know it's good. So we're just going to.
All right. Okay.
We're going to keep talking.
Tried and true recipes. Yeah.
I know. It's one of those things that is just a go-to.
Do you just pan roast the salmon or oven roast the salmon and add it?
What I do, I learned that when I was baking my salmon, Jesus H, Christ, it's hot here. When I was baking my salmon, it was coming out dry, and I couldn't figure out why. So I learned a trick that if you take a salmon fillet and you slice it about every 2 inches, down a half an inch, what you want to do is I squeeze lemon on it, but then I do olive oil and I sort of give it a massage. And I chop some roasted garlic, and I will literally tuck it into those little cuts, put it all over the top. And then what you do is you put it in the oven on broil. So you want to put it into the top shelf that, let's say it's 8 inches or so from the flame, and put it in for 8 minutes. And what's so crazy is that it's gonna smell like it's burning because the oil and the lemon juice will start to burn, but the fish itself is going to start to golden, and then it starts to brown, and the garlic gets so caramelized and delicious on top. And then what happens is the oils from the fish actually somehow, instead of evaporating, they seep into the ends. So the ends, instead of being dry, are the most delicious oily parts of the salmon. It's fantastic.
And what do we say on Corona Kitchen, people? Oil carries the flavor.
Or fat.
Yeah.
Fat carries the flavor.
I'll tell that to my belly.
I know. I tell it to mine all the time.
Got a lot of flavor in my belly. Okay, let me put the sauce on there, and I'll show the people at home. But I may have made too many tomatoes, but I don't think so.
Oh, how can you have too many tomatoes? Said the Italian girl in the kitchen.
Right. Well, I'm just worried that you can't see my spaghetti squash anymore under it, but I think we're going to be okay. Oh, this is going to be a beautiful picture, but I'll just show it very quickly with better lighting.
Oh,
lighting.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then you have a really nice dish, and if you want a piece of salmon over the top, you can place it on there, and it's delicious. And if you want shrimp, I've never made it with chicken, but I think something lighter is seafood, and then you can pair it with a nice Chardonnay or a Sauvignon Blanc.
Well done.
I think there's a lot of people at home going, who the hell is this person?
Listen to Dana.
Like my fans.
Does she have a cookbook? What?
You know what? My mother is convinced, and she says this all the time. She's like, if comedy doesn't work out, which is the funniest thing coming from my mom, because I'm like, it's going fine. But she's like, if comedy doesn't work out, you could do a cookbook. And I'm like, but just that line, 17 years in, and I've been on television, and I'm writing a television show, and, performing all over the world. And my Jewish mother, is still like, if this doesn't work out, you could do a cookbook.
A backup plan.
You got the
Well, shit.
Plan B.
We all need a plan B with the pandemic. I have no idea when I'm going to be back on stage again.
Well, welcome to our plan B.
This is our plan B.
I know. I watched Hamilton last night, which I am telling you, if you haven't seen it out there, you guys,
I did.
Every single craze of that show, it was worth it, and then some. I was blown away. And then after it was over, I started crying because I'm like, how are we going to get back into theaters again?
Oh my God.
How are we going to film stuff? I mean,
yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of, I work with a production company called Level Forward, and they put on these incredible webinars every Wednesday. It's called Work It Out Wednesday, and they have a speaker. It's a lot of filmmakers, also activists, and they just had a reverend on today that's actually an evangelical reverend. But what's interesting is he was explaining that there are 3 different sects, S-E-C-T, you got it, sects to evangelicalism. Evangelicalism? I think that's a word.
Okay.
And there's one that truly believes Jesus is teaching, like protect the poor and the hungry and those most marginalized amongst us. And then there's this second one that I didn't really pay attention to, but the third one is the one that is destroying our country. So this guy who is very impressive and actually came from a Jewish family. He just happened to find Jesus when he was younger and felt that that's where he belonged. But he was a born again Christian. And so he basically got wrapped up in that really horrible part of evangelicalism and started realizing that it went against every fundamental belief that he's ever had. And so he reverted back, and he actually told us today, he used to work with Mike Pence. He's been to the White House several times, and he's very much for gun reform, which is amazing. But he said to Mike Pence, and it was the last thing he said to him, he said, the country needs you to find your, I think he said integrity or your, basically he needs you to find your humanity again. The country needs it now more than ever. It's the last thing he ever said to Pence, because I don't know if there's a human in there anymore, but these guys are so drunk on power and so brainwashed to this fundamentalist Christian right that I don't even think they know what they believe anymore. I think they've completely lost touch with their own souls.
Yeah. Did you see that TV show, The Family?
No.
I think it's on Netflix. Wasn't
That
it?
would be a good one to watch.
Wow, that's a really good one to watch, and it explains that sect of fundamentalism that basically became what we see now as everything cloaked in religion. And and the way they did it, it's a staggering bit of information. It's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, no, it is really crazy. So, I hope I guess the point of that was hearing him gave me a little bit of hope that some people can still be reached. All these people that have gone off the deep. Wow, that was really good. I just tasted the sauce. It's really delicious.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy that after the show.
People are saying it looks yummy.
Oh, good.
Well, we live every day, Debriana and I, with hope, because there are really great people out there doing what we like to call the Lord's work, and really doing it to change and wake people up and stay with the momentum of all of the stuff that's happening right now. You have to be relentless, and people have to register to vote and be prepared, and don't wait till last minute, because it has to be a blue tsunami. It's the only way. It's the only way.
It really is. It's the only way, because I tell you what though, I don't trust a fair election as far as I can throw it. So that's my big worry. I want to stay hopeful and I want to stay positive, because we all know this. Everyone watching this knows this. If this was a fair and even election, this would be the biggest landslide this country's probably ever seen in a presidential election. But will it be with voter suppression, with Russian interference? Can we even get a fair shake? And I'm just hoping to God we get out numbers that they can't manipulate. That's my hope.
That's my hope too. And I'm worried about COVID, because it's going to get much, much worse, because there's no leadership at the top, helping us. And now with the demand that everything open as if there's nothing wrong, there's going to be a lot of people that, we haven't instituted vote by mail. I'm like, I don't know, should we be getting in the streets about vote by mail now, people?
It's a good question. Well, what we need to do first is we need to save the damn post office. So the post office is not getting federal funding from COVID relief, because they know damn well if that goes under, I'm going to open a bottle of wine. So since we're still visiting and talking, if that goes under.
I read about the postal workers in LA, their trucks are blowing up spontaneously. I forget which, I think it was in that New York Times today, because they're so old that they just blow up because they haven't replaced the trucks.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's scary.
I know it sounds crazy, but if everyone were to go buy a book of stamps, we could literally help refund the post office. And, people stop writing letters and they stop sending bills, and we do everything now online. And no, there's a good reason why there's no coronavirus, bailout for the post office is because Trump doesn't want us to be able to vote by mail, even if it's passed.
No, but the Ayn Rand Institute got money. Yes, they
Oh yeah,
did.
and Mitch
got a
McConnell's
handout.
wife. Mitch McConnell's wife. Shit, are you kidding me? Kanye West company got between $2 and $5 million from PPP.
Oh my God.
Sad. It's just, we could go on and on.
Yes,
We really could.
There's 4,000 topics.
Oh my God, that's funny. I don't know who said that. Too bad the old senators aren't like old postal trucks. Well, actually, some of them probably feel like they are, because I heard Lamar Alexander and who else? A couple of them are not going to the RNC convention.
Right.
Because they're worried about COVID.
Hypocrite.
Well, did you see that the
you all
GOP?
go.
Yeah, the GOP convention, the RNC in Texas, they want them to get together, but they're going to speak virtually.
Yeah, they're all going to go virtual, and they all have health care. How weird is that?
Of course they do. How nice it would be to have a congressman's health insurance.
Yeah, just nice. Thank you. What are you opening?
I'm ready for a glass.
I am opening this. I don't actually know. There's a reflection from the light. Hold on.
I see. Alto.
Yeah, I don't know how it is, but a dear friend of mine who's a wine connoisseur, her girlfriend actually got COVID, and during that time, I did a couple of runs, masked and gloved, and just dropped off groceries and what they needed, or took dog treats for them. And then she had a COVID birthday, as a lot of us have.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought over some desserts and stuff. And then when she got better, she just dropped off a bottle of wine to say thank you. So this is what we're doing.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it is a deep red too.
I don't have wine. I have bourbon.
Yes, you do.
Nice. Hey, normally I'm drinking straight tequila, so I'm just trying to be classy.
Yeah, I drank it all.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Here. Cheers. Oh, thank you.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh, that's really nice. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom's really funny because she's like, you need to be drinking a lot of water, not just wine. And I'm like, listen, lady. But
is your mom
I'm
still
not
here? Is she still in Albuquerque?
She is. I miss her so terribly much right now. My entire immediate family is still there. My sister and the kids and her husband and my brother.
Mm-hmm.
I miss them terribly right now. My brother actually might be watching. So Jason, if you are watching this, I love you and I miss you very, very much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard. My mom is doing well and she's healthy and happy, but she's also, a woman of a certain age, and she'd kill me if I said her age on this show. She's a woman of a certain age. Yeah, I learned, trust me, because when I was doing stand-up, I have dirty jokes. Debriana, I have dirty jokes, and my mom goes to my shows. She came up to me after one show, and I was like, oh, here we go. She goes, Dana, I loved your material. Everything was hilarious, but did you have to say I was 63 on stage? That was her biggest complaint. I just told jokes about dildos. Yeah. Told jokes about dildos and a bunch of other stuff, and my mom was like, really?
Lisa, where'd you go? She blacked out. Lisa blacked out.
That kombucha will put you right over. That is some strong shit right there.
Right over the edge. Talk about gut health. She just went off.
I know.
Oh my God. I am so happy that we got to hang out with you, though. That was really kind of you to do that.
Are you kidding? This was a highlight of my day. I haven't been completely secluded. I know a lot of people have during this quarantine, but as an artist, one of the things I missed more than almost anything I can explain is human connection. And being with my fans and getting that feedback and that love and hugging people. Like, I know some entertainers, they don't like to be amongst the people, and I thrive on it. And so to be able to be here with you and Lisa and laugh and cook and make myself dinner, and hopefully I made some people at home laugh and enjoy their night. So I'm good.
Yeah,
I feel good.
That's it. I know that we say that every time everyone's like, what? You've done 105 shows in a row. And we're like, this is the high point of our day. This is the part where we get to have fun and enjoy helping and talking to people. It's really, I think it's been a help for a lot of people who are quarantined right now. And it's been months. Well, 105 days straight. That's what
crazy.
it's been. Yeah, that's been that way. So we're grateful to have others join us and help them get their good workout too.
Anytime. Is Lisa coming back, or do I just say goodbye to you? What's happening?
I don't know. She disappeared. I think she's probably going to come in. Weekly Wednesday time slot. Who said that? Oh, Peggy. She's booking you for our show every Wednesday.
Fantastic, Peggy. Thank you very much.
Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. I see her coming back. I'll add her in just a sec. Hang on, just one sec. All right, there you are. What happened?
Oh my God, I completely accidentally, I'm in Ronan's room. I pulled out the wrong plug. I thought I was pulling out the light to put my power cable in and pulled out the frigging internet.
We don't want to brag about our tech skills.
Oh
Here
my
at Corona
God.
Kitchen, we don't want to brag about our tech skills, but
This day is the worst.
yep.
Oh my God. This has been oh my God, now she
Go ahead.
disappeared again. Oh my God, this day. I am telling you, I have had it with the tech.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
It's been a lot. And at least you got dinner out of it. I haven't cooked
did.
yet.
You guys, you go cook. You go. You don't have to stay on
wait,
with me. Oh, and we're back.
She's back. What did you do?
Okay, I went to put my power cord in. I pulled out the internet cable.
Lisa,
I'm in my son's bedroom, and I accidentally pulled out the wrong thing. Oh my God.
I'm starting to question that offer you made at the beginning of the show about being my tech person for Funny Fest.
Not my forte. This is not my forte. I hire tech people, but oh my God,
Well, we're all here in one piece, and peace.
Peace.
just so happy to have had you, Dana. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me on anytime. Everyone at home, take care of yourselves. We're going to get through this, and just vote. Please just vote.
Just vote.
Wear a fucking mask.
Wear a fucking mask.
Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Wash your hands.